You are listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
Microwaves. Let's talk microwaves. I mean, just think about this for a moment. Would you heat up your porridge in a nuclear reactor? Of course not. But that's what you're doing every morning. Sticking your breakfast in a radioactive waste machine. Be smart, people.
You got Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
You hear that sound? That's the sound of people in power getting nervous. They want us to stay quiet, see? But we're not gonna do that. This thing's gonna blow up any minute, and this mic here is the match that lights the fuse. Stay tuned for the weather.
You got Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
If you're the kind of person who leaves the radio on all the time, congratulations. You've just stumbled into Harrison Wolf's Power Hour here on 2 Point Radio. I'll try not to disturb you too much. My latest attempts to find a hobby, stamp collecting. I went down to the post office and bought all the stamps they had. So I guess I'm done.
You got Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
Welcome to 6 more hours of me, Harrison Wolf, 2 Point County's most enthusiastic radio DJ. I'm just so excited to be here.
2 Point Radio. You're listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
Hey, this is Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio. I almost didn't show up for work today. Then I remembered how much you'd all miss me. So here I am.
You are listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
It's the Harrison Wolf Show on 2 Point Radio now. But don't worry, I'm just here to change the music every few minutes.
2 Point Radio. You're listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
You're listening to the voice of Harrison Wolf, 2 Point Radio's third highest rated DJ. Stick around if you want to hear me talk some more.
You are listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
Do not adjust your set. What you're hearing isn't static or interference. It's Harrison Wolf. I'll be with you for the next few hours here on 2 Point Radio, playing some sweet tunes just like this one.
You got Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
If you've been wondering, hey, where did that energetic, happy-go-lucky Harrison Wolf go? Wonder no more. I'm here, bringing you more hours of joy on 2 Point Radio. Lucky you. Stay tuned for the weather. Regular listeners will know that's code for Harrison Wolf's got some big news. That's right. I just found out last week's fireworks were staged to send messages that can be seen from outer space. So keep an eye out for any unusual tourists.
2 Point Radio. You're listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
Just when you thought it was safe to listen to the radio again, here's Harrison Wolf bringing you all the music and good vibes you can handle. The world makes little sense in the morning. Everything's too loud, too fast, too bright. That's why you and me, we're night people. So stay tuned for some night music.
2 Point Radio. You're listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
You're listening to 2 Point Radio with your resident weirdo, Harrison Wolf. Stay tuned for some great music. You never know, we might get lucky. If you've been trying to get through to the station today, you should know we're experiencing some technical difficulties. Well, if you want to know the truth, I unplugged the phone. Let's just imagine you requested this upcoming song. I shouldn't tell you this, but I'm really a caped crime fighter keeping the streets of 2 Point County clean for you all. Being a DJ is just my secret identity. Don't tell anyone.
You got Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
Harrison Wolf here on 2 Point Radio. Remember, I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to entertain myself.
You are listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
Is it just me, or are the pointy mountains getting less pointy? We should raise some money and get them sharpened. I mean, who wants to live in the shadow of blunt mountains? I was going to go to the zoo this weekend, but I was afraid they might not let me back out. And I'm not spending another weekend trying to convince the staff I'm not a hyena. They should listen to the radio more. What kind of hyena plays songs, after all?
You are listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
We had a caller on the line just now, but he sounded suspicious, so I hung up. Which means this week's big prize is still up for grabs. So why not try your luck and you could be the winner of a year's supply of lint.
You got Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
Sometimes when I'm sitting in the booth like this, completely alone, headphones pressing on my ears, I like to pretend I'm an astronaut lost in space. I'm just trying to get a message through. Until then, here is more music. Bad news, listeners. I'm being evicted at the end of the week. Can't really understand why. I pay my rent on time, don't play loud music, and all my neighbors are welcome to play with any of my venomous snakes. I got 48 of them. A reminder that the annual 2 Point Charity Walkathon is this weekend. Don't forget to wear your ribbon, if you want to be easily tracked by government agencies, that is. Today, I want to talk about something that's very close to my heart, my left lung. If you have any internal organs you'd like to discuss with us, drop us a line. You know the number. Why is discretion the only one that gets a soul? How about the soul of confidence or apathy? Chew on that while you listen to this next song. My latest attempt at finding a hobby, bird watching. Man, those things are fast. Also, people get nervous when you carry binoculars wherever you go, especially when you're standing in their back gardens. I want you to look at your radio. Really, look at it. Now, pick it up. Feel the weight in your hand. Open a window. Now, I want you to throw the radio out, hard as you can, because music deserves to be free. Now go to your nearest radio repair shop. But you probably didn't hear that. This is serious, people. The Jammy Biscuits recipe has been changed. Oh, subtly, yeah. But you can taste the difference. This is how it starts. First, they replace our biscuits. Then they come for us. You could wake up tomorrow with 10% more vanilla in your genetic makeup. Soon enough, the whole of 2 Point will be taken over. Stay vigilant. I know what you're wondering. Is this all there is? You go to school, you get a job, you pay your taxes, watch TV, sleep every night. Well, that's not all there is. There's music, and music makes it all worthwhile. If you don't believe me, listen to this.
You got Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
The band claims the song you just heard was composed in outer space, somewhere around the second moon of Jupiter. That's the small one. You probably never heard it. Adrastea. Of course, maybe they just drank too many cans of Pulpitation. Have you seen the latest edition of the 2 Point Squabbler? Of course not. Why would you? You're an intelligent human being. That's why you listen to the Harrison Wolf Power Hour. Just remember to keep doing that.
2 Point Radio. You're listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
I'd almost forgotten how much I hated that song. It's like when you stub your toe and it hurts, but a week later you think, it didn't hurt that much. Then you stub your toe again, and you remember the pain. All the pain. Let's hope this next song doesn't sound like a stubbed toe. When I first moved to 2 Point County from across the pond, you want to know what I missed most? The bowling alleys, man. You ask me, they're every bit as important as libraries and museums. On the way, more tunes to make your head explode. In my hypnosis session yesterday, I discovered I was a mongoose in one of my previous lives. Then I went back even further and found out I was also a pterodactyl. Weird thing was, I still had a radio show to do every day. I'd stay away from Blyton this week. A new virus epidemic has broken out. They don't even have a name for it. Hey, here's an idea for competition. Write in with your suggestions, and I'll submit the best one to the health authorities.
You got Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
In case you've forgotten, you're listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio. Don't worry, though. I'm not a real wolf. Wolves can't DJ or hold down any other kind of steady job, really. That should have been your first clue. I don't often do this, but here's the weather report. A purple contentment seeps through the pores of Croquembouche. A vast cloud of inexperienced crows gathers for the annual feast over Flattering. And finally, the tears of a clown swell to a tide down the streets of Grockle Bay. The next weather report will be in 17 years. You ever stare into empty space and just ponder the mysteries of the universe? Like, how many planets out there support life? And what's another word for thesaurus? More existential questions after this. It must get weird for you, hearing this voice coming out of nowhere every few minutes. But don't worry, I'm not inside your head. I'm just inside your radio. That's where the music lives too. Music like this. Shout out to all the hospital patients across 2 Point County. I know it's scary in those places, getting poked at by doctors, wondering if the Grim Reaper's gonna come. So this song is for all of you. You're listening to Harrison Wolf. I don't know what my time-traveling future self is up to, but my arm just disappeared. You just listened to Music to Play Sims by Volume 3. A big hit back in the day for the background noise band. I heard they disbanded after the bassist got trapped in a corner by the misplaced piece of furniture. Music's in my blood. The doctors say it's nothing to worry about, though, so I'm just gonna keep playing records till someone tells me to stop. Look, either you're one of those people who tries to stuff as many marshmallows into their mouth as they can, or you're not. The important thing is to keep a sense of perspective. Now, stuff this fine song down your ears. There's a houseplant in the booth, and I've got to tell you, it's creeping me out. Who put it here? Who waters it? And why does it keep growing? One thing's for sure, I'm not turning my back on it. Now here's some nice chill-out music.
You are listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
Sitting here playing music can get a bit lonely. So why didn't you call in and tell me what you'd like to hear? That's right, Harrison Wolf's going to be taking requests right after this. I know I said I'd be taking requests, but I've got to tell you, you people have terrible taste. This is why I'm a professional. I'm the one who picks the songs. And right now, I pick this one. I got a bit cranky earlier. I'd like to say I'm sorry to all you faithful listeners. There's bad vibes in the booth today. Maybe I was under the influence of this sinister plant. This next song should get things back to normal. Hey, you enjoy swimming? Sure you do. It's a wonderful exercise. But if you're doing it in the local pool, you might like to know they're putting dangerous brain-altering chemicals in the water. They call it chlorine. I call it mind control. Now here's a record that's been making a real splash. I tried a new hobby this week, just like my therapist recommended. Antique furniture restoration. It's not as relaxing as you'd think. The people sitting on those old couches can get pretty angry. Might be time to try something else. I keep talking about music, how important it is, how it makes you feel alive. But where's the actual live music in 2 Point County? It's nowhere, man. That's why I've decided to organize a classic rock festival. Stay tuned for more details. First thing we're going to need for our classic rock festival, a venue. There's a few obvious choices, Grog Ben's Ring, or that stadium where they play some sport or other. But really, what says rock better than the Meltdowns? That's right, folks. This concert is going to be hot, just like this song.
You are listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
Now we have our venue sorted for this rock festival. We're going to need some headliners. Feel free to send in your suggestions. I'm already deep in talks with classic bands like Atrocious Blunder, The Shrieking Pillows, and Satanic Turnip. It's going to be a hell of a lineup. In the meantime, you can listen to this. Harrison Wolf here with another startling revelation from the dark side. You think the government is the only thing keeping tabs on us? How about nature? Fingerprints are the earliest forms of ID. Nature is watching our every move, and it can track us wherever we go. Think about that the next time you go on a hike. The 2 Point Rock Festival is almost ready to happen. Over 20 bands signed up. I couldn't be more excited. All we have to do now is call up Town Hall and get the permit. Get ready to rock, people.
2 Point Radio. You're listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
In the weather today, weird cloud formations spotted overhead. Clouds in the shape of bottle openers, fuse boxes, and this is the scary one, mushrooms. That's right, mushroom clouds hovering over our homes, over your children's schools. Time to dig out those bomb shelters and wait out the end of times. Oh, major bummer after talking to the mayor about our rock festival. Turns out a concerned citizen has filed a motion to deny our permit. The festival is dead. For now, friends. But rock and roll lives on. And here's a song that proves it. Found out who was behind that motion that killed our rock festival dream. None other than Sir Nigel Bickleworth. I'm not a violent man, though, so all I did was lock him in the radio station's toilet, where I've been blasting some really loud music for the past 3 hours. Hope you like it, Nige. This next song is for all the hospital patients shaken up by that earthquake. Hope all your internal organs are still in the right place. I had a call from a patient in a local hospital who says they just had an earthquake. Either that or their experimental treatments are getting out of hand. I don't want to panic you all, but a nasty epidemic has broken out in 2 Point County. Hospitals are doing what they can, but, maybe you should panic. I've started exploring past lives. I've tried hypnotizing myself with pendulums and pocket watches, but I find listening to my own voice works best. I say one thing, and then another thing. And I say one thing, and then another thing. It's possible you're now hypnotized too. Good thing this radio booth is airtight. I'm hearing there's a new epidemic going around. This hypochondriac ain't leaving the station till they find a cure, which means more music like this. There's a pigeon on the windowsill outside the booth. He's staring at me. Did you know you can train pigeons to do almost anything? What's he up to? Who sent him here? Oh, he just flew off. Guess he got everything he needed. Here's some more records. My therapist still says I need to find a hobby, so I decided to try whittling. Ever sat down with a small knife and a piece of wood? It's a very fulfilling experience. But how many steaks does one man need? The search continues. The 45th caller today will win tickets to the rock festival taking place next month. I admire our station manager's optimism. The most callers we've ever had in a day was 6. 2 of them were wrong numbers. So I have a new hobby now, beekeeping. I only have 3 bees for now, not as easy to catch as you'd think, but I'm looking forward to all that sweet, sweet honey. And here's a sweet, sweet melody for you all. I'm still looking for that perfect hobby. This time I tried learning magic tricks. A fellow was being dishonest to myself, so I stopped. If anyone has a good home for 24 white rabbits, give me a call. My therapist says I need to relax more, find a hobby. So I thought I'd start a new segment. Each week, I'll try a new hobby and tell you how relaxing it is. If you have any hobby suggestions, please send them in. I hear movie star Roderick Cushion has been visiting patients at a hospital. You ever seen one of his perilous spandex flicks? It's probably the reason these people ended up in hospital in the first place. I've DJ'd at over 20 stations all over the world. Even DJ'd in one of those cities under the sea they don't want you to know about. But this one still has the weirdest smell. One lucky hospital had a visit from Augustus Lavender, the holistic CEO today. But I'm not sure anybody wants an emergency aromatherapy ward. Sophie Nova, CEO of Bungle Tech, dropped by a local hospital this morning. The press release said she was offering to share her company's experimental treatments. You ask me, she just wanted to see what the competition is up to. It's not often one gets a look at Agatha Sphere, the reclusive leader of the Orb Foundation. But patients down at a local hospital saw her today when she popped in for a visit. No word yet on whether she tried to brainwash any of them. Why is it, whenever you clip your nails in front of a computer, one of the nails always flies into the cracks of your keyboard? Does the keyboard feed on them? I don't know. No one knows. Bad news for the hospital who received a visit from Minister for Health Tarquin Foxbridge this morning. Probably outlawed sneezing and created a new tax on elbows. Remember, folks, we've got to vote these people out. Anybody spot Mayor Tabitha Winsock today as she visited one of the county's hospitals? Hey, it's never too early to canvass for the next election, right? Two Point Radio's roving reporter Sally Fig Blanket visited some local hospitals for her latest piece, and you'll be able to enjoy it just as soon as we figure out how to show it to you over a radio set. Looks like Holistics have a new product on the market, an asparagus-scented candle that is guaranteed to enhance your afternoon napping. Holistics' usual customers, also known as the Less Sense Than Money Brigade, are already lining up to buy some. The latest invention from Bungle is here, the automatic nocturnal nail robot. This sentient little fellow will clip and file your nails while you sleep. That's if you're crazy enough to let one inside your house. Listen up, people. We're in danger of being overrun by corporate interests. There'll be a protest outside of Jumbo headquarters in Krakenbush. You'll find me picketing there, so come and join us. In the meantime, our sponsor, Jumbo Nuts, would like to remind you just how tasty their product is. It says here that Titan of Industry, Jumbo McNally, visited a local hospital earlier for what he called an interesting business opportunity. Knowing the CEO of Jumbo Corp, that probably means some kind of hostile takeover attempt.
You are listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
You're listening to Harrison Wolf, the lone voice of reason, ready to spread some truth to all our vigilant listeners. So open your eyes and your ears and get ready to find out what's really going on. But first, here are some people playing musical instruments. I'm not going to say that all of the ills of 2 Point County are down to Jumbo Corp. Then again, I'm not saying they're not.
You are listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
I hope you've taken your medication because it's time for the Harrison Wolf Show here on 2 Point Radio, and it's going to be a wild ride.
You got Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
Harrison Wolf here with another large dosage of truth and nonsense on 2 Point Radio. So stick around, unless you have something better to do.
2 Point Radio. You're listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
This is Harrison Wolf, 2 Point Radio's voice of reason. I'm supposed to tell you we have a great show for you today, but how do I know? We haven't made it yet.
You are listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
If you'd like up-to-date popular music and fun-loving banter, change the station because this is 2 Point Radio, and I'm Harrison Wolf. Health and Safety Inspector Henry Jobsworth was seen checking into the Sure Thing Hotel in Grockle Bay yesterday. He was then seen running out and screaming this morning. Sounds about right. The airport closed down today for almost 2 hours after Health and Safety Inspector Henry Jobsworth saw the state of the buffet lunch they were serving to travelers. Hey, this is one bureaucratic action I can get behind. Looks like the healthcare branch of the Holistics company, known to some as Hemp, is in trouble again. Apparently Elixir, their latest product which claims to cure all ills, is in fact nothing but pine-scented prune juice. Well, I guess it should cure one ill at least. Our marketing director, Stacy, went to a Holistics nature commune to have her appendix removed, but all they had was tree surgeons. She'll need to visit a real hospital, but at least her hair's been nicely pruned. This stuff blows my mind. Bungle have released a new vitamin tablet that incorporates nanotechnology. You heard me. The tablet scans your body for the vitamins it needs and then synthesizes them. Either that or explodes inside you and kills you. You ever called one of Bungle Meditech's health hotlines? The voice on the other end is a sophisticated AI that tells you everything you're doing wrong with your lifestyle. Weird thing is, it sounds just like my mother. Nobody really knows what goes on in one of those orb wellness centers. I mean, they look like hospitals from the outside, but inside, patients are forbidden from revealing the orb's secret healing techniques. Might just have to go undercover and see for myself. If you're unlucky enough to get sick, my advice, don't turn to Jumbo Medical Solutions. Their hospitals are well equipped, it's true, but what's the use of healing your body if you have to sell your soul, right? So I've been wondering if the whole point of orb wellness centers is to use the natural healing power of the orb. Can't you, just get yourself a ball or a balloon and hug it for a while? Might be worth a try the next time I get the flu. Jumbo Medical Solutions have got a new drug on the market that reduces stress and anxiety by 99%. Unfortunately, the debt you'll go into to afford it will raise them by 99.1%. Can't argue with numbers, man. Jumbo, the richest company around, has set up scanners and cameras all over 2-Point County, designed to gather data on every one of us. Personally, all they're going to get from me is a look of existential lethargy and helpless resignation. So, my usual look. Jumbo's new range of smart glasses and contact lenses can now send targeted advertising straight into your retina. Not so good if you're driving, but what's a few car accidents when you can find out all about those products you didn't know you needed? If you're about to agree to the terms and conditions of any Jumbo products, you might want to check the small print first. Turns out there's a clause there that says they're allowed to harvest your organs after you die. Hey, I guess it's nice of them to wait until after at least.
You got Harrison Wolf on 2-Point Radio.
This is Harrison Wolf, and you're listening to 2-Point Radio. But you already knew that. Let's start the show with this uplifting little number. Earlier today, Jasmine Odyssey was mobbed on the street by fans, but managed to lose them by hiding in a nearby hospital. The press release is calling it a charitable visit. Gotta love those PR people. Tried out a new hobby over the weekend, crashing weddings. Didn't work out so well. I ruined the cake, and I don't think my car will ever be the same. Think this latest hobby I'm trying out might be the one that sticks. It's called incandescent meditation. What you do is tie a bunch of light bulbs around you and breathe deeply for 6 hours. On second thoughts, that sounds like too much breathing to me.
2-Point Radio. You're listening to Harrison Wolf on 2-Point Radio.
It's the moment you've been waiting for. The Harrison Wolf Power Hour. Let's just hope no one turns the power off. I've been getting a bit desperate trying to find a hobby that will relax me. This time I gave seances a go, but talking to the air and getting no replies. I can do that in my day job, man. After trying 67 different hobbies, I'm finally giving up, boys and girls. Guess the only hobby I need is keeping you company and playing some sweet tunes. Just like this one. For all you night owls out there, it can get pretty lonely during those long, dark hours. So we're going to cover what you can get up to at night in 2-Point County. And if you've got any suggestions of your own, send them in. Hey, night owls. This tip for those who like to stay up might be a bit obvious, but it's still worth exploring. Late night TV. You gotta be adventurous. Click past the channels playing reruns and sports and find the really weird stuff. Goats playing chess, make your own bomb shelter tutorials. It's all out there. More tips for all you night owls out there. Sweaty Palms is the 2-point town that never sleeps. So why not take a walk around there with a notebook and some binoculars and have yourself a safari expedition? Just keep your distance from drunk students and other feral animals.
You got Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
Night owl Paul Bagsy has called in with a nocturnal pastime he'd like to share. Keep a watch on your garden gnomes using night vision and camera traps. Paul is convinced one day he'll capture footage of them coming to life. If you want to join his cause, have at it.
You are listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
It's that time of day again. That's right, folks. Harrison Wolf is back on the airwaves. Stay tuned for my unique brand of enthusiastic banter. Another night owl listener has called with a tip for those who can't sleep. Alfred Crockery suggests you break into one of the county museums and switch the labels around on all the exhibits. Don't see the point myself, but each to his own. Here's another tip for all you night owls. Poke a hole in the bedsheet. Get yourself to Blanding's Castle in Lower Flottering and start howling and rattling chains. If nothing else, the tourists who brave a night trip out there will get a kick out of it. Remember, if you're a night owl, whatever you do, wherever you go, be sure to take a radio with you so you can listen to old Harrison Wolf. I'm always there to keep you company. I'm not one to encourage criminal behavior. Well, not too criminal. But any night owls near the meltdowns might want to try breaking into that government facility we're not supposed to know about. Do us all a favor and see if you can't find out what they're doing in there. Time to talk about the supernatural underbelly of 2 Point County. As an example, last night, I saw what looked like a zombie squirrel in a tree by my house. So do call if you've experienced your own paranormal encounter. A fear shared is a fear halved. Tim Alcove, who works nights at the Gruckle Bay branch of Roachburgers, has called in to tell us about his recent spooky experiences. Scratchy sounds behind the walls, burger buns walking across the floor, and an unearthly smell are just some of the phenomena he's seen. And nothing to do with the fast food joint standards of hygiene, I'm sure.
You are listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
Don't change that dial. Harrison Wolf is here on 2 Point County's #1 radio station. Let's go straight to some top 10 hits, shall we? In some exciting paranormal, or at least not quite normal news, there's been reports of a giant squid being seen just off the coast in Hogsport. If you're planning to join the squid stakeout party planned for tomorrow, just remember that all the things that live in the sea can be dangerous.
You are listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
Friend of the show and fellow paranormal enthusiast Brian Cabbage says he has proof of large mutant lizards living in the meltdowns. Hey, sounds plausible to me. Not so sure about the lasers shooting out of their eyes though, Brian. Students at the medical school called in earlier to say their campus may be the most haunted place in the county. They report seeing classroom skeletons dancing, strange colors floating in the air, and walls seeming to melt. Let's just remember these are medical students with access to some very interesting substances. It's time to panic, folks. A strange object has been hovering over Duckworth upon Bilge. UFO enthusiasts are flocking to the scene, though there's a good chance it's just a noxious cloud of gas spewed by the local factories. Anyway, I still say it's time to panic. Penelope Stuffage, the strict librarian of the Lower Bullocks County Library, has raised some eyebrows after claiming the building is haunted. According to Miss Stuffage, the ghost of her predecessor comes in every night and reclassifies books by an outdated system. Spooky stuff indeed.
You got Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
I've been sitting here wondering how the town of Smoggley got its name. I just can't wrap my head around it. Probably because of all the time I've spent there breathing in those industrial fumes. We play a lot of great music, but what about all those bands just starting out and trying to make a name for themselves? Well, I'm going to highlight some local unsigned bands you should all hear. With any luck, one day, I'll be able to play their songs right here on 2 Point Radio. You've probably never heard of local blues band Sonny Flannel and the Bellyaches, but you should really check them out. They'll be playing at the Squeaky Cat Club this weekend. If you like headbanging and mosh pits, make sure you catch local thrash band Toxic Teabag this Friday night. They'll be playing at the Underground Bar in the Meltdowns. Get there early. It only holds 16 people.
2 Point Radio. You're listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
I had the strangest night last night. I was playing poker with 2 lobsters, a leg table, and a sack of flour. I didn't win a single hand. Talk about poker faces. Then again, maybe it's time I stopped drinking absinthe.
2 Point Radio. You're listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
It's time to highlight another unsigned band, synth-pop outfit Wild Casino Pets. They've been booked at the Caramel Lights Club in Grockle Bay, so be sure to bring a change of clothes. It gets real frothy in there. Local indie rock band The 2 Point Semicolons will be hoping to attract some music label attention when they play the Broken Parrot Pub on Tuesday. Show your support, but don't be too noisy. The regulars don't like to be disturbed. Sinister rituals are afoot in the Underlook Hotel this Sunday when local black metal band Dark Weasel Goat put on one of their concerts in the lobby. Be warned, the drummer has promised to summon both demonic goats and weasels during the show. Unsigned jazz band the Dennis Rinse Cycle Quartet is making waves in the local circuit, but there's still tickets available for their free-flowing, mind-bending concert on Monday night at the Copa Banana. These guys are going to be big. As many of you know, I have a keen interest in the paranormal. So I'm inviting any listeners who've had any supernatural encounters to write in or give me a call. Let's find out just how spooky 2 Point County really is. Neo-folk outfit Sad Nimbus will be staging a special concert at Grogben's Ring tomorrow night. Weather is scheduled to be cold and windy, so conditions should be ideal. Enjoy the show. If you're planning to take a camping trip to the Tumble Downs, be sure to take the following with you: a compass, a sturdy tent, and the new multi-purpose repellent from Holistics, guaranteed to drive away wolves, bears, and chainsaw-wielding maniacs. There's no bears or wolves out there, but it's always good to be prepared. My therapist says I need to relax more. Find a hobby. If you have any suggestions, please send them in. I'll keep you posted on how my search goes. Anything's better than my last hobby: collecting traffic cones.
2 Point Radio. You're listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
If you ever get the chance, pay a little visit to Grogbin's Ring late at night. I like to hang out there in a haze of smoke and just see what happens. You'd be amazed how many druids visit Lower Bullocks every year. This next song is dedicated to them. Rise and shine, everyone. And if you happen to be in Lower Bullocks this morning, watch out for the gathering of druids down at Grogben's Ring. In a total coincidence, the town will also pay host to a psychology convention today. Should all work out nicely. It's easy to get lost around Tumble, and it's even easier to fall down. That's why authorities recommend only seasoned climbers and hikers visit this beautiful region of 2 Point County, or at least people with good health coverage. The rest of us will have to make do with a postcard.
2 Point Radio. You're listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
I went to the Cirque du Parfait recently. I was impressed by how experimental the acts were till I realized I was facing the wrong way and just looking at the tent wall. I'm not one for conspiracy theories, but you ever wondered why the meltdown is in the state it's in? Abandoned buildings, mutated wildlife, eerie reports. You ask me, it's something to do with all the experiments going on in those secret government facilities. Actually, I guess I am one for conspiracy theories.
2 Point Radio. You're listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
Leslie called in just now to tell me about her supernatural experience. She was sitting in her flat in sweaty palms when the furniture started to move all by itself. Angry poltergeist or just another sweaty palms earthquake? Guess we'll never know. What would 2 Point County do without the masses of tourists it attracts every year? Well, Premier Resort Crockle Bay would be out of business for one thing, and so would all the hospitals that specialize in exotic diseases. I guess what I'm saying is we should thank visitors for bringing their viruses in from all over the world. You should be careful what you name things. Just look at Rotting Hill, a former waste dump that got turned into a suburban residential area. Maybe if they called it Paradise Hill, the houses wouldn't be falling apart and its public services wouldn't be drowning in debt. Then again, a dump by any other name would smell just as putrid.
2 Point Radio. You're listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
Rise and shine, everyone. It's Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio. Now that I think about it, you can listen to this lying down, so you don't have to rise. And unless you've swallowed a torch, you're not going to shine either. So stay down and dull, everyone. I was watching a line of Orb Foundation recruits walking down the street yesterday when I saw one of them trip and get separated from the others. He started turning in circles and bumping the walls. So there's your proof, folks. The drones can't function when they're cut off from the collective. Remember this weakness when they come for us all. Good luck for all you rock fans. I've got 2 tickets to the 2 Point Semicolons concert this weekend, and you can win them by answering a simple question. What is the name of the band's most popular song? They only have 3, so this should be easy. Call in if you know.
You are listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
We have a winner for those tickets. Robbie Marmalade, who called in with the correct answer. The Semicolon's most popular song is 4 is a 4-letter word, which they'll be performing on Tuesday in Crockle Bay. Enjoy the gig, Robbie. Since taking a break from my search for hobbies, I've realized that my favorite hobby is searching for hobbies. I guess it's like the meaning of life. Asking the question is what gives it meaning. Which brings me to my new hobby for the week, collecting paradoxes. If you've come across a paradox lately, I'd like to hear all about it. There's a lot of stuff we need to figure out if we're going to save our planet, starting with renewable energies, solar power, wind power. These are a good start, but I'd like to propose a new one, chewing power. Think about it. A chewing gum that's wirelessly connected to the grid. A whole city powered by moving our jaws. It could happen. We live in difficult times. Big brother, big sister, big aunt, the whole big family is watching our every move, tracking what we do and say, what we buy, what we read, what we watch. That's why I have a segment telling you how to protect yourself from all those prying eyes. It's called Hints for Tinfoil Hats. Stay tuned.
You got Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
A friend of mine got me a working holiday at Mary Dunk Farm for my birthday. I say friend, but I haven't spoken to him since. Anyway, this next song is for anyone who's had to mix up a batch of hog slop.
You got Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
You're about to enter the wolf zone, where we speak truth to power, and sometimes kick it in the shins. I'm Harrison Wolf, and this is 2 Point Radio. After some deep research and investigative work, I found out that Holistics was born from a small company called Whole Lotta Sticks. Yeah, that's right. It sold sticks. Not wildly successful, as you can imagine. Then one day, some sticks fell in a cup of hot water, and they sold it as a miracle tea. The rest, as the fella says, is history.
You are listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
Never hurts to have a fallback career. I tried out as a paparazzo by hanging out at the Paradise Lust Hotel, where all the celebs stay. Managed to take a bunch of pictures of the doorman, but having a hard time selling them. And guess I'll stick to playing records. Like this one. Well, look what I got here. It's 2 tickets for next Friday's sold-out Dark Weasel Goat concert. All you have to do to win them is recite the first line of the satanic ritual the band does at the start of every gig. This one's for real fans, but feel free to have a guess.
2 Point Radio. You're listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
A lot of people called in trying to guess the first line of Dark Weasel Goat's ritual, but only one of you got it right. Congratulations to Emma Tremolo, who gets the tickets. For the record, the first line of the ritual is, "We worship at the altar of good, clean fun. Be nice to each other. Let's have a groovy time." Ooh, chilling words. My never-ending search for a new hobby led me down a dark path this week as I discovered the joy of vintage lunchboxes. The plastic ones with cartoons and music bands on them are pretty easy to find, but iron-cast medieval lunchboxes are rare, man. Like really rare. Those crusading knights knew how to hide their lunch. Had what you might call an epiphany this morning. A revelation, a parting of the clouds, a lightning bolt moment, a profound realization, an instant of self-discovery, a flash of inspiration. It was this. I really like thesauruses. Sick of the government looking over your shoulder? Keeping records? Tracking your moves? Then hints for tinfoil hats as the segment for you. Today we're going to discuss going off the grid. It's hardcore stuff. Stop using water, gas, and electricity. Stop watching TV, listening to the radio, reading the newspaper. And most importantly of all, scrape the number off your house so they can't find you. Norman called in earlier to describe his paranormal encounter. He was lying drunk in a gutter when he saw a bright light. Alien abduction or a street lamp? We'll never know. Let me know if you've had any spooky experiences of your own.
You are listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
You're tuned to the Harrison Wolf Show on 2 Point Radio. And if this is your first time listening, don't worry. It'll all make sense eventually. Just let the words wash over you. The Orb Foundation tried to recruit me this morning. 5th time this week. I kept telling him I already belonged to a weird cult. Radio DJs. I was born to play records, baby. Here's another one. Listen up, people. This is serious. If we're not careful, one of these days we'll wake up and find 2 Point County has been renamed Jumbo County, and all the products will be Jumbo products, and the only services will be Jumbo services, and you'll have to pay Jumbo just to walk down the street. Don't say I didn't warn you. Anybody out there like jazz? Because I got 2 tickets to see the Dennis Rince Cycle Quartet tomorrow night, and it promises to be a real jiving time. All you have to do is tell me the name of Dennis Rince's first band. If you think you know, give me a call. I really hate how fashionable Pelican Wharf's gotten these days. You can't order a beer without someone sticking a cocktail umbrella in it. Won't even serve you unless you're wearing the right brand of clothes. Stay away from those places, listeners. Stay away.
You got Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
We only had one caller for our jazz ticket giveaway, but luckily Tony Satsuma got the answer right. Dennis Rince's first band was the Hyper-Hallucinogenic Freaky Lantern Jazz Trio. Try saying that in one take. My latest hobby is really connecting me with my more creative side. I'm learning to be a tattoo artist. You know how you can get cheap haircuts from students at barber school? Well, you can get real cheap tattoos from me. Just don't ask for anything too complicated. My specialty is small black dots. If there's one thing I've learned in all my years in the radio game, it's never to do a broadcast alone in the studio late at night. I'm telling you, this place can be spooky. What was that? You hear the noise? Okay, I'm gonna go check that out. When I come back, I'll have some tips for the paranoid among you. It's time for hints for tinfoil hats, and I'm here to tell you that if you think the government is bad, just look at what the corporations are doing. We got no privacy left. They use their products to spy on us and turn us into good little consumers. Bottom line, never buy a Jumbo product, no matter how cool it is. Had a call from Fred in Blyton who says his shed is haunted. Hears strange noises there every night. He's thinking he should stop storing all his cheese in there. What do you think? Remember, if you've had a supernatural encounter, let me know. One of our hospitals is suffering the effects of an electrical storm. Not so good if you're hooked up to any equipment right now, but great conditions for reanimating monsters assembled from body parts. Looks like Spluttering Nora is at it again. Had a few panicked calls from the local hospital that's taking most of the damage. See? This is what happens when volcanoes stop getting human sacrifices. An avalanche has just hit up a hospital in the Pointy Mountains. Hope they got plenty of supplies to keep them going in there, and that they can still get a radio signal. 'Cause the next song is dedicated to them. Nobody knows who's to blame for 2 Point County's strange weather events. The government? Jumbo Corp? Aliens? What we do know is that a local hospital has just been hit by a severe hailstorm. Hang on tight, guys. Anyone who looks at me would think I'd be a loyal customer of Holistics. Let me tell you, the only environment those people care about is the air-conditioned bank vault where they keep all their money. Remember that next time you bathe in your jasmine-scented mud bath. I recently donated to the Bigfoot Foundation, which really helps those out-of-the-way mountain communities. So it's good to hear Bartholomew F. Yeti is currently visiting one of the area's hospitals. Keep up the good work, Bart. Has anyone actually read the ingredients list for Briny Brittle? It just says salt, 84%. Other ingredients, 16%. Thinking of sending some samples to the lab to find out what those are. You don't need a lab to know what's coming up next. More great tunes. People often ask me, "Hey Wolf, what's your favorite place in this crazy county of ours?" And I always say, Angeluk, man. Not that I'm into skiing or little snow-covered cottages, but there's something special about it. And everyone should spend at least one night in the spooky Angeluk Hotel.
You're listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
You're listening to 2 Point Radio. I'm Harrison Wolf. A shadow hangs over today's show. The shadow of a mysterious package that's been sent to me at the station. Could this be the forces that be finally quietening this beacon of outrage? Is what sits before me some kind of biohazardous response to all of my dissent? We'll find out later in the show. I'll be keeping you company all through the night. Playing the only records this station can afford. Might need to open a can of palpitation to keep me awake. If you hear any snoring, just ignore it. Alright, Delphine Finger Sandwich says, the package probably contains a scandalous picture of you and a blackmail note. Or maybe a slightly smaller package. Many of you have suggested that I destroy the package. Brian Cleft says, hit it with so many hammers. Brian man, we don't have all that many hammers lying around the station, so why don't you pull your head out of your... I apologize. The situation may be starting to get the better of me. Welcome back. I've been keeping as still as possible in case this mysterious package responds to movement. Or maybe it responds to sound. What if it's on a timer? I think I need your help. What could be the trigger? How long do I have? Let me know. Here are some thinking tunes. I believe Stockholm Syndrome has begun to rear its ugly head. My respect for the package and its potential for danger has developed into a strange kind of affection. Living with it forever in a constant state of opening is becoming a very real, even pleasing possibility. Whatever is next can be our song. How about that?
You are listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
I've been thinking about your suggestions, and you're right. I could destroy the package, but who am I to bludgeon the inviting face of destiny? And this package is, after all, for me. I've seen every possibility. It always ends with me opening the package. It's just a matter of time. Okay, that was a low point, but I'm going to do it now. During that last song, I came to terms with my own demise, and I'm ready to open the package. That's right, I will have opened the package right after this. Wish me luck. Two Point County is just so damn normal. We're ruled by gray suits sitting in corporate offices, building up the tower of capitalism. Well, it's time for action. I want you to go out there and do something subversive. Be a rebel. Then call in and tell us all about it. Code chill out, everybody. We have a false alarm. It seems our mysterious foe was really a friend all along. The little guy was full of cookies from Mama Wolf. Thanks, Mom. Hopefully, today's show has been a good example of how to deal with any unidentified device, suspicious object, or interfamilial gift. Now, I'm off to get some milk. Maple is one of the many rebels, pranksters, and anarchists who's called in to tell us about their subversive acts. She spray-painted courgettes all over the front of a fast food joint. Well done, Maple. This next track's for you.
You got Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
You're tuned in to the Harrison Wolf Power Hour on 2 Point Radio. I'm Harrison Wolf. Oh, that was a funny sound. Looks like we've started with a bang. I'll go see what's going on while you settle in with some previously scheduled sounds.
You got Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
You're tuned in to the Harrison Wolf Power Hour on 2 Point Radio. I'm Harrison Wolf. Oh, that was a funny sound. Looks like we've started with a bang. I'll go see what's going on while you settle in with some previously scheduled sounds. So, that sound was the doorknob falling off the door to my booth. The door is now just small wall. Our handy woman tried to tell me what's going on, but unfortunately she didn't realize that the booth is a little soundproofed. I'll try and make contact to see what the plan is. Here are some musical things. Life's pretty funny. One moment you're talking to dozens of people through strange and wondrous technology. The next you're locked in a booth. You're saying that I'm in here indefinitely, but I don't know. It seems pretty definite to me.
2 Point Radio. You're listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
You're back, and you join me in what appears to be my new home. Harrison Wolf, trapped at his post. I'm sure all the fat cats have been waiting for this day, but the movement will not be stopped by a lack of movement. Here are some real jolly tunes. I've just enjoyed a nice slice of cheese, wrapped in plastic. It's about all that can slide into the door. I better get used to a primarily flat diet. Get in touch and let me know what food you'd like to be trapped with. Esmeralda LeBlanc writes in to say that she'd want to be trapped with a couple of pizzas. She'd say that she'd cut them into 12 and, by having a slice each hour, use them as a kind of tomatoey sundial. Savvy use of the savory, Ms. LeBlanc. Savvy use indeed. I wish I could tell you there was an end to this story, that this show would conclude and I'd walk out that door a free man. But I can't tell you that, my friends. But don't worry about this, Wolf. I'll get out of here at some point. Probably. I'm going to have another slice of cheese. Until next time. Sonia just called in to tell us about her subversive act of the day. She went into one of those swanky Pelican Wharf bars and switched all the fancy drinks for cans of burp. Keep up the anarchy, people.
You are listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
Good morning, noon, or night. This is Harrison Wolf, and today's show is going to be a little different, as I pay tribute to a monster of the airwaves and fellow host on 2 Point Radio, Little Dickie Hawthorne. So sit back and relax as I give my take on some of his best ever segments. You're in for a good one.
You are listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
Maple is one of the many rebels, pranksters, and anarchists who's called in to tell us about their subversive acts. She spray-painted courgettes all over the front of a fast food joint. Well done, Maple. This next track's for you. You know, we have an old saying in the radio game. Always pretend to like the music. I think that's good advice for us all. And I can tell you with all sincerity that this next track is an absolute corker. We're experiencing some minor difficulties right now. I hope you can hear me because I can't hear myself. I can't hear anything, as a matter of fact. Oh, wait. My headphones were unplugged. There we are. Lovely.
You got Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
Welcome back. If you're late to the show today, we're honoring 2 Point Radio's own Ricky Hawthorne. Here's my take on another iconic moment of radio. There's a new health company in town, and their innovative methods are causing quite a stir. I, for one, can't wait to be injured in some horrible way so I can see their work for myself. In the meantime, here's a song that's guaranteed to make you feel ill. I just made myself a cup of tea. Is there anything more soothing and comforting? This next tune is very much like a cup of tea. It's wet, it's hot, and it's full of sugar. So let your ears drink it down. It feels right that our last moment comes from Richard's Nice Words of the Day segment. Here you go, folks. Marjorie Dillpickle sends us today's nice words of the day, which are, if you're confident, everything else will follow. That's right, Marjorie, including old age and death. I'm confident of that. I hope you've enjoyed the show as much as I enjoy Mr. Hawthorne's fine and often surreal work. Legend has it that he was doing his shows long before 2 Point Radio existed. The station formed around him, like a great city around a river. Powerful stuff, man. Powerful stuff. The story goes that the ancient civilization at Overgrowth used to live in perfect balance with its super smart trees. But somewhere along the road, the people lost their way. So the plants grew into an impenetrable forest and were like, hey, get out of here, to the people. I'd love to have seen it in its heyday, man. That's where I'd belong. Phil called us from Blyton earlier, where he changed his sign that said, buy Swindel's premium insurance to don't buy Swindel's premium insurance. That's subtle work, Phil. I like it. More subversion after this. Wiggy Silverbottom was recently seen at one of his offshore hospitals, probably avoiding some rich guy tax, hiding cash, or burying priceless cutlery. I see you, Silverbottom. I see everything. It sounds like there's a scorching hot laser beam hassling patients and staff at a county hospital. They're saying it's a naturally occurring anomaly, but are we so sure? I have visions of one of those corporations designing a gigantic magnifying glass to fry us all like ants. Nature is a beautiful, powerful, scary thing. No one knows that better right now than people in the hospital just hit by a water tornado. I hope everyone's all right and enjoying coming face to face with the elements. What do they want? How do they get up there? These are the questions on everyone's mind, as yet again, unsuspecting 2 Point residents have been ambushed by frogs dropping from the sky. I long for the day when frog and man can coexist in peace once again. A big hand for Fiona Figtree, who just called with the best subversive act so far. Fiona sneaked into the mayor's office and blunted all her pencils. That should bring bureaucracy crashing down. Our work here is done, people.
2-Point Radio. You're listening to Harrison Wolf on 2-Point Radio.
Today, I'll be talking about some of 2-Point's best-known classified information. You can expect to hear about my favorite schemes, cover-ups, and scandals from our county's rich history of deceiving us. Strap yourself in and bolt yourself down. Folks, it's going to be a big one. So-called popular culture wants you to believe that Jumbo Megacorp is a company founded by the human man, Jumbo McNally. But not so fast. What if he's just another Jumbo product? A walking, talking brand? A smiling face for us to watch eat sandwiches as if everything's fine? I'm not buying it. You probably don't remember how long Tabitha Windsock has been our mayor. Nobody does. 1 year, she stayed in power by just not holding the election. It worked because no one was paying attention. That's how they get everything done. Now, as I speak, another thing goes unnoticed, and another, and another, and another.
You are listening to Harrison Wolf on 2-Point Radio.
Let's talk about the Camouflage Falls estate. The development has been going on for years, but we haven't seen a single photograph. Doesn't that seem strange to you? It can only mean one thing. The government are using Camouflage Falls to prototype photo-retardant buildings. Think about some of the sickening implications while you listen to this. Here's an old one. After naming it 2-Point County, our founding fathers were told that a third point had been discovered on the Pointy Mountains. This third point didn't fit their agenda, so they had it removed behind enormous closed doors. These are the kind of people who will stop at nothing to make sense of the world. I'm sure you'll join me in saying that they sound like a bad hang, a very bad hang indeed. Does anyone else remember when Pebbly Island didn't used to be there? Then one day, there it was, along with all this lore and something called a frog sanctuary. They expect us to just forget about it and fall in line. They're ambitious, I'll give them that. That's about as much deception as I can handle in one day. Remember, none of these theories have been confirmed, but that's how you know they're true. When they get confirmed, that's when you know that there's something fishy going on. Anyway, I'm off to sleep with my eyes open.
You got Harrison Wolf on 2-Point Radio.
Hello there! I know what you're thinking. You're not Harrison Wolf. And you're right. I'm not. It's me, Ricky Hawthorne. I'm afraid that Mr. Wolf isn't here today. It's all very mysterious. So instead, we're going to play you an old show from the archives. This one's actually from Harrison's first year at the station. If I could remember it, I'm sure it'd feel like yesterday.
Hey everybody, you're listening to 2-Point Radio. This is Harrison Wolf. I'm excited to announce that next week I'll be talking to up-and-coming politician Tabitha Windsock about some of the great plans she has for the county's future. Here's some music from the time it is now. I want to use my platform to spotlight a new local product. They're called Cheesy Gubbins, and they're made by a little company from right here in 2-Point County. I just can't get enough of them. Tell your friends. Everyone should know about them. Again, that's Cheesy Gubbins. Man, I might just go and have some now.
You're listening to Harrison Wolf on 2-Point Radio.
It's me again, Ricky Hawthorne. I hope you're enjoying some vintage Wolf here on 2-Point Radio. Unfortunately, we've lost a segment from the show, so instead, you've got me buying time until the next segment. Yep, that should do it.
The answer was water-resistant bassoon. I'm hoping to make fun trivia like that a regular part of my show. If you enjoyed it, get in touch to let us know by writing a letter or using a phone with one of those rotary dials that we still have at the moment. I went to see that new film Perilous Spandex the other day. It was a fun time. Go check it out if the mood strikes. Hope they don't ruin it with an unnecessary sequel. I'm sure they won't.
That's all for this throwback entry of 2 Point Radio. Isn't it amazing just how little has changed since then? I'd have believed he was in today. I've not been Harrison Wolf. Good day.
You are listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio. Harrison Wolf coming in peace on 2 Point Radio. Recently, I've been thinking about other forms of life, even more than usual. So today, we're talking about all things far out. If we're lucky, an alien will intercept the frequency and call on in. We like to think that the ball of communication is on the alien side of the court, that our eyes and ears are open. But what if, with our telescopes and radios, we've been looking in all the wrong places? We might have unopened voicemails and phones we never even knew we had. Look out for messages in this next song. Timothy Bacon Beck chimes in with this. Assuming aliens have their own holidays or recurring jubilatory events that correspond to an orbit-based calendar, do you think they decorate their homes? That's some good assuming you've done there, Timmy. My quick fire response? Yes.
You got Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio.
What might aliens do for fun? Do they have fun? Do they worry about not having enough fun? Do they ask questions about other life forms and wonder if they, too, have fun? My hope is that the answer to all of those questions is yes, except for the first one. I hope the answer to that is space bowling. This is fun. Charlottine Fish Wrapper, journalist for the 2 Point Squabbler, must have been listening in, and she's got in touch to say, come back to land, Harrison. There isn't aliens about or here or nothing. You crazy guy for sure. That's exactly what a member of the press would say. Only joking, Charlie. You may be wrong, but I do like your work. More respectful debate after this. I'd like to use this segment to present a theory. What if a whole bunch of aliens know all about us and they're staying away on purpose? It's possible that there's an intergalactic party going on, but we didn't get an invite. I like to think if we try and be a little cooler, maybe one day that invite will come. Here's some music to get you started. We've had a lot of fun, but before we finish, there are some I's to cross and T's to drink. I've been told to read the following statement. Fortunately, they didn't say anything about tone. Any speculation made by Mr. Wolf was made in the name of entertainment and was not intended to alarm listeners. Well, you know me. See you next time. Chasm 24. No, it's not a nightclub. It's the heart of darkness. The eye of the storm. Another way of saying that. Only your darkest thoughts could start to speculate on the type of nefarious government projects based there. Up next, the story of a dog that can make lemonade. I don't get much exposure to mainstream media because I'm afraid of getting programmed. But I gotta say, I've been reading the odd column by Charlottine Fish Wrapper, writer for the 2 Point Squabbler. She hits just the right note of total gibberish. I recommend that you check it out. I read somewhere that 9 out of 10 meteors that clatter into 2 Point County were originally garbage that we fired into space. You can't hide from your past, listeners. It'll come back and fall on you from a great height, even stinkier than you remember it. Never forget that. Another satellite falling out the sky.
I have a theory that storing all of our secrets is making them fall with a heavy conscience. I think our county's shoddy engineering is more of a secondary factor. Normal people aren't supposed to believe that raccoons are exploiting us like little furry parasites, and that's exactly why they're so effective at it. I'm petitioning for Bungle to do something useful for a change and design a raccoon-resistant bin. You're listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio. Hi, this is Harrison Wolf. The topic of today's show is my sustainable life. So pour yourself some rainwater, turn that heating down real low, and let's get to it. I've been designing my own solar paneling. So far, the operation has been mainly ladder-powered. Some might say that I'm not qualified for a task of this kind, but don't be fooled. That's just the system tricking you into underestimating your own potential. Call in and let us know some of your great green ideas. This is from Janine Jackal Antlers. It's amazing what can be achieved by simply changing your perspective. Take this, for example. Food doesn't go off. It just becomes something else. Thanks, Janine. I'll remember that the next time I'm cutting into some old milk. Now that stuff has personality. You are listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio. Winfield Crothers chimes in with this. I find a metronome aids me in sustaining concentration when performing a task. All right then, this feels like a good time to let you all know that your contributions, no matter how confused, are always appreciated. Back to that solar paneling. So far as I could tell, I needed to get something on my roof that would sit in the sun and get really, really hot. That's as far as I've gotten with the technology. You see, last week there was a minor setback when I fell through my ceiling during an installation. More on that later. I've got a message from Filippo Piffalo, who says, as not to be wasteful, that he makes and repairs his own shoes. Oh, wow. Now that's a good one. Sadly, I don't know how to do that. So, yeah. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So I just fallen through my roof. Luckily, that solar paneling really broke my fall. The way I see it, there will always be setbacks, but it's important not to be discouraged. Anyway, who needs a hot plank of metal to take power from the sun when you've got the sunlight itself coming in through a hole in your ceiling? Just some food for thought. Be sure to recycle it. Hi, I'm Harrison Wolf, and welcome to 2 Point Radio for a special show presented by Bungle Kits. Listen to some music while I find out where that noise is coming from. Yo, yo, and hello, it's the Wolfman coming at you with some kid-friendly content here on 2 Point Radio. So here's some insidious advertising for the under 10s. Cheesy Gubbins contains as much milk as milk. That doesn't sound right, but they don't care, do they? All right, it's time for my earliest and fondest memory of cartoons. I remember that I used to get up early, head downstairs, and sit on the floor to watch a cast of wacky characters, all love and abstract shapes. Sure, they had their obstacles and their mishaps, but they always stuck together. It was years later that I found out the young wolf was watching Static. One man's white noise is another man's entertainment. Remember that. Bungle Kids is full of wonderful entertainment for all ages, but also lessons for all ages. I believe the word is parable. Hey, that's fun to say. Parable. Parable. What I've learned today is that it's fun to say
parable. 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 Ah, this is fun. We've got a message from a little Jiminy Brown Shorts. Let's see what he's got to say. Dear Harrison, what did you want to be when you were little? Well, Jiminy, when I was little, I wanted to be a lighthouse keeper. Now those guys know what's going on. Unfortunately, I was never good with stairs. Bungle Kids has given me the privilege of announcing the newest character/snack to join the Morsel Men family. Introducing Sean Cocktail. I'm not sure I understand this announcement or what's happening, but I can hardly contain my excitement all the same. That's it from me, but remember to tune into Bungle Kids tomorrow, where it's back-to-back Bureaucrats all day long. If you've not seen it before, I encourage you to give it a try. No one's too old for cartoons, man, and this one's colorful, real funny, and also contains lots of great legal advice. It's helped me out on more than one occasion. I'm skeptical of everyone and everything. But it's nice to see the mayor thinking about the environment and once crayoned every inch of my living room green in protest. It was only when I finished that I realized no one else was gonna see it. It sounds like those holistics people have set up camp in the Wanderoff County Park. I've heard that they're attempting to monitor how people feel with something called a wellness index. I know nothing could bum me out faster than the term wellness index. Get away from my feelings, you animals. I hear that Roderick Cushing guy is filming a new medical drama at Plywood Studios. Just what we need, another show about a handsome doctor. If anyone from Plywood Productions is listening, I'm still waiting to hear back about my show. I don't want to spoil it for you, but let's just say it's about a professional bowler that solves interdimensional mysteries. Actually, that's pretty much it. It sounds like Zara Fitzpocket has been visiting hospitals in the county's arts district. There's something funny about having a hospital in the arts district. You never know if you're going to come out cured or in some kind of collage. And that's pretty cool. You gotta respect the cavemen, man. They didn't need all our modern conveniences. No carpets, no shoe racks, no 2-for-1 train tickets, just hanging in a cave with your friendly dinosaur buddy. Now that's the life. You gotta ask yourself, what is time? Time is a morning you overslept, an egg you overcooked. Time is your missing car keys, the rush hour traffic, and not knowing that it's Wednesday. What I'm saying is that it's not something you can buy or control, no matter what that Captain Yesterday guy says. Hard pass. I keep seeing people speeding and running red lights. Do not even try to hide it with those flashing lights and loud noises. When will the authorities do something about it? Somebody could get hurt.